All right, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about the Pokemon market something and how it's pretty stupid. All right, my name's Josh. I run Monster Moss Studio with my wife Nicole, and we're an online Pokemon card business focusing on Japanese, Chinese Pokemon cards. So yes, the Pokemon marketplace and selling Pokemon cards it's crazy right now for sure. And yeah, I've been seeing a lot of content about this, and I just wanted to, I don't even know why, react to some stuff that's just out there. I guess that's kind of what I'm after. So I think we need to talk about the idea of market price. So, and I'll just go into what my understanding of market price is, and I'm sure I'll get, corrected or whatever, but market price is what the market is willing to pay for something. So if a booster pack, if the market price is, let's just say Ascended Heroes, it's $15, that means that people are willing to pay $15 to buy Ascended Heroes booster packs. Now, is that everybody? No. Is that some people? Obviously. So when we as like vendors, sellers of Pokemon cards, booster boxes, other sealed stuff, singles, when we talk about market price, that's what we're talking about, is people are willing to pay this, and we have documented evidence that people are willing to pay these prices for things. So it's obviously easier to think about singles, where cards are worth a certain price, and we base that off of a variety of sources: TCG Player, eBay, all of the other like apps that pull data from a variety of sources. So that is what market price is based off of. So is it arbitrary? Sure, probably. But the thing is like, let's just say hypothetically, a card is worth, market price is $50, and somebody offers me $30 for it. Well, I have no incentive to sell it for $30 when there's history of people paying $50 for it. So I might decline an offer of $30 and wait for somebody who is willing to pay the $50. So essentially, that's what it is. It's pure economics. It's not mean, it's not evil, it's not anything. It's just the economics of items. I mean, it's the same with, literally apply this to anything. So obviously, in certain other marketplaces, the government comes in and like obviously messes with prices and stuff like that, fixed prices, or subsidizes things, but that's not what's happening in Pokemon. Pokemon is a free marketplace. That's what it means by being a free market, is that the market is dictating the prices of everything. So if you don't like the fact that Ascended Heroes is being charged $15 a booster pack, yeah, that's definitely a bummer. The scalping thing is, sort of apart from that. But I won't get into that in this video. I definitely think I've said enough about it. We don't sell English sealed stuff. We sell Japanese and Chinese stuff, which that's just our prerogative. We like the idea of, we're just general merchants of, I go and I import these things into America. I pay my X cost of importing those things in, and then I charge Y on my website, at the table when we vend, Facebook Marketplace, blah, blah. And the delta there, the difference between X and Y, that's my margin, that's my profit, that's it. Super simple, super clean. I don't worry about market pricing when it comes to Chinese, Japanese booster boxes, because it's simply, I import at X, I tack on my 10 to 15% margin, and I sell it for Y. That's it, super clean. So now that's our business model, and for the most part, yeah, we don't really deal with the English sealed stuff. And the big reason why is, when booster packs and other sealed products hit market price, It's not that we have a problem with the market price idea, because you're right. If someone is willing to pay you, like let's say Dust and Rivals, the booster box is $6.50. If someone is willing to pay $6.50 for a booster box, sell it. That's fantastic for you. The thing is, I am not willing to pay $6.50 for Dust and Rivals booster box. I think that's extremely overpriced, especially for a set that's still in print. Will there be new booster boxes, reprints, and blah, blah, blah? I don't know. I don't care. That's not what this is about. What this is about is the idea of market price versus liquidity. And I've been seeing a lot of chatter about this recently. I know I watch way too much PokeTube content, way too much Pokemon business card content. And so maybe it's just me, but I guess when Dust and Rivals is $6.50 a booster box, when the 151 UPC is $1,000, and sellers of these items are having a hard time selling them to general collectors, they act surprised. And I'm confused why they're surprised. General collectors are just being priced out of owning these items. So that's, in my mind, the real danger of having these really high valued sealed Pokemon products. So again, I'll just pick on Dust and Rivals because it's $6.50, and I'll pick on the 151 UPC because it's $1,000. So those are just super. I mean, there's tons of examples of this across the board, and mostly what I'm talking about is imprint or recent stuff, modern, like ultra modern. The stuff that's out of print, that's vintage, older stuff, that makes sense why it rises in price because of supply scarcity. That makes sense. So as supply goes down, it becomes more scarce. So supply is less, meaning that the price goes up because there's just less and less of it around. That's just not true as much for modern stuff. There's tons of it around. So yes, if you bought one of these extremely high valued modern sealed products and on paper you look wealthy or rich or whatever, you have a high valued item, and that looks good on paper, the issue comes into is that at some point you can't pay rent, you can't buy food, you can't pay for goods and services. If your car takes a dump and you need to get a new car, you're not going to the dealership with your 151 UPC. You need to get cash money for that thing, and then you can go and buy groceries, pay your rent, pay your utility bills. That's the thing that I'm kind of thinking about here. So you look good on paper if you have these items. And as an accountant, I look at this kind of stuff, balance sheets, profit and loss statements. I look at this stuff a lot. It's that some people are rich on paper, but not rich actually, as in they own a lot of stuff. This stuff has value, but they actually don't have that much money in the banks. They don't have a lot of liquid capital. So now they have a lot of assets, and if they sold all of those assets, they would then have a lot of money. In this case, I assume that's the goal with these high-end Pokemon sealed products. So, $1,000 for the UPC, that's the goal, is to get $1,000. But you're not gonna get $1,000 for that thing, more than likely. You'll probably get 80 to 85% of that, which is still not a bad payday. You're getting $8 to $8.50 out of your $1,000 item. The issue is of course, finding somebody who is willing to pay that. So that's that market price thing. What somebody is willing to pay for a thing. And so my question has always been, who's buying this shit for $8.50? Are you selling it to a vendor? Are you selling it to another business who is looking to then flip it themselves? That's always been the thing that I've thought about. And I guess that just seemed really obvious, is that who you're not selling it to are, I guess, poor schmucks like me who live in the Midwest. And if the average annual income in the Midwest is $45,000 to $65,000 a year, that's not a lot of money. They're probably not dumping on a regular basis $1,000 into one sealed product. They're just not. And so, yeah, I mean, I get it. There are other parts of this country that are better off and that have higher salaries and higher wages. And again, I'm operating under the assumption of a median income. I totally get that. I get that I'm in the Midwest. Yeah, I get it. It's definitely a cultural difference between the, the coasts versus the Midwest and the South and blah, blah, blah. But generally, as I would say, a general mid-range collector, like, we have the Gengar from Ascended Heroes, the SAR. The only reason why we have that card is because we pulled it. Now, I like Gengar, I like Halloween. I mean, you can see us pull the God Pack, it's on our socials. And so I did want the Gengar, but I knew I was never gonna buy it because it's $1,000 card. I can't even begin to justify spending $1,000 on one Pokemon card that I'm never gonna sell, because that would be financially irresponsible for me and my family. So it just kind of makes sense that I mean, I guess not everybody doesn't think that way, thinks about their responsibilities as an adult. But again, when these things are market valued at 800, 1,000, whatever they're at, my question always is, who's buying this shit? And if you hold these items, and even if you hold them long term, if you hold the Ascended Heroes ETB and it's $600 and all this, whatever, at some point, you're gonna have to extract the liquid capital out of that to pay for a bill or pay for something else. How are you gonna do that? Who's buying it? And now I've watched, obviously, other PokeTubers and stuff, bigger businesses. There are people that do have money, and there are people who are buying collections, and they have obviously, put out there that they want to buy collections. Now is the best time to sell, blah, blah. That's probably true. Right now, it's a Pokemon bull market. You'll hear it everywhere you go, talking about the Pokemon bull market. And at some point, we're gonna hit the Pokemon bear market. Of course we will, because that's how economics works. It goes peaks and valleys. Right now, we're in the peak. At some point, we're gonna valley. When that happens, nobody knows. Truly, nobody knows. There are historic signs of when markets start to valley, but nobody actually knows. That's why economists generally are always guessing, and the only economists that we remember are the ones that either got it tragically wrong or got it historically correct. But that's kind of it. So, and it's really just a 50-50 guess on when everything will go up versus when everything will go down. And so right now everything is up. So if you happen to get a Destin Rivals booster box, and let's just say you paid MSRP for that bad boy, 160, 180, and now it's at 650, now's the time to offload that guy, because it might go up in the future. Totally possible, maybe, but you don't actually know that. And if it does go up, how much higher will it go? And if it's already at 650, let's say the DR booster box goes to $1,000. Who's buying that? That's what I want to know. I mean, if I hop on TCG Player and if I look at the actual recent sales of these really high ticket items, how often are they transacting versus stuff that's just lower end? That's a good question, is that if it's hard to sell like expensive things, well, yeah, because generally Americans don't have that much money. So it's surprising to me that other Pokemon sellers are surprised that high-end items are hard to sell. Imagine that. It's because in general, the median income in the US is like 80 grand. Like the whole US. In the Midwest, it's 55 grand. That's not that much money. You're barely paying for stuff. So yeah, 80 grand is just not a lot of money, not in today's world. And so dropping $1,000, I mean, you have to be dedicated to collecting and dedicated, disciplined, or extremely reckless to be buying and hoarding these things if you're not trying to like offload them immediately. So at least it would be irresponsible for somebody like me, some poor, dude from the Midwest who has a really great beard. So, I mean, that's why we made the shift and we decided to sell the Japanese stuff. And because it was affordable, it was fun to rip. And that's, I think, really, maybe this is the thing. This is like a huge rant video, I guess, which I've never made before. It's just been on my mind. I've been ranting to Nicole about it. And I think she's just, I don't know, she's something, but she's just sick of hearing about it probably. So, but I think at the heart of it is, who are you trying to appeal to as a Pokemon business? And for us, it's always been the people who are after the, I guess, I don't want to say true collectors, but like the people who just like Pokemon cards for Pokemon cards. And I guess, and maybe it's just me, but I see a lot of discussion constantly about Pokemon card market value, values of singles, skip these sets because, you know, these sets are trash. There's no good chases. There's no high value cards. There's no Charizard. There's no Ascended Barney. There's no, you know, $1,500 Pikachu. There's no none of that. So don't go after Perfect Order, Chaos Rising, Pitch Black. Don't go after those. Go after the ones that are high value only. And that just seems a weird thing to promote, I guess. But it just depends on your goals and how you want to, I guess, participate in the hobby. So for us, we just like the cool cards. And I think all of these mid sets still have really good cards. So I'm confused why there's encouragement to skip them when there's still good cards in them. Who cares that the Clefairy out of Perfect Order is 25 bucks, 30, whatever? Who cares? It's a really cool card. Shouldn't that be the goal? Is that it's a cool card and you should want the cool card for the cool card's sake? The fact that it's 25, 30 bucks is just what the market has decided it's valued and what they're willing to pay for it. I don't know. That's what I guess. So I guess that's just our business has been focused on that, is we like stuff that is affordable and what's things that in our minds we could reasonably afford and justify paying. So are we ever going to buy $1,000 UPC? No. And not because I don't think 151 is a good set. It's because I can't afford to. I can't justify that $1,000. Now, could I buy a Chinese gem? I think Gem 5 is the one we're on now. Could I buy that one for $45? Yes, I could. So I can afford $45, not $1,000. So that's always been our mindset in our business, is we want to appeal to, I would say, the average collector and somebody who wants to rip packs for funsies, somebody who wants to collect cool cards for funsies. Now, if they can get a little market value out of them, yes, that would be great. Especially if they can take those cards with some market value and trade them in or sell them to get other cool things that they want. Maybe they don't like the Clefairy from Perfect Order. Well, that card has a $25, $30 value. They can use it as trade leverage into something that they do want. Yes, that's exactly how I feel this market should work. And so, yeah. Anyway, I guess that's probably all I got for this rant. I think the rant's done. Got it off my chest. Anyway, we sell Japanese, Chinese booster boxes. If you want to check us out, monstermawstudio.com. Thanks, everybody.